All right. Welcome, one and all, to the Off the Rails Sports Podcast. I am your host, John, and we're going to do a little recap for Wednesday. Oh, God, I miss baseball. You know, going basically 3 days without baseball. Oh, it's so terrible. It's so terrible. And we have a little of the WNBA, and I got to be honest with you, I really still haven't bought into it. I know the Caitlin Clark, Angela Reese thing is getting kind of testy because in the backdrop we have Shaq backing his girl Angela Reese and RG3, who literally was, his career was derailed in the NFL. He's becoming now a controversial blogcaster, and he is trying to stoke the rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Angela Reese. I don't know if he's going to get there, but boy, when you get Shaq involved, you're going to get a lot of eyeballs. I guess we're going to see how that all works out. But my head's going to explode if I talk about the WNBA too much. So let's move on. Let's talk about the association, the NBA. Dame Lillard, who was cut unceremoniously from the Milwaukee Bucks a couple weeks ago, they're going to eat the rest of his contract. Obviously, he's not going to play this year. He has a severe injury, ACL. He signed a 3-year deal with the Portland Trailblazers, the team that was his home for basically 13 years. And I don't understand this. I don't understand this. He has a no trade clause in this contract. 3 years, 42 million, no trade. LeBron James is the only person in the NBA with also a no trade contract. And I don't understand if Dame wants to win a title. If he really does, why aren't you signing for the league minimum with Golden State or the Clippers, or how about Denver? I mean, I know you're not going to play this year. There is a possibility you might be able to be ready for the playoffs, but why aren't you? I mean, I can name 5 or 6 teams where you have a legitimate shot of being a good player, contributing minutes on a contender. The first one for me would be Denver, and then I would look at San Antonio because I think that's coming sooner than we think. Okay, maybe you can't crack the rotation in OKC, but how about Minnesota? They've been in the conference finals 2 years in a row. How about Orlando? I mean, you're talented. Why are we not looking at that? I mean, they all say they want to, and I don't know. Is this a money play? I don't know. Sometimes, sometimes when you've been in a place a long time, it's hard to leave. He went to Milwaukee trying to chase the ring. It didn't quite work out. The thing I look back at as the NHL, a lot of the players there, like 4 hours before unrestricted free agency, they re-sign with their own team. It's because they do a real good job of pulling at the heartstrings, right? They employ their brothers or their cousins or whatever. I mean, they got a lot of stuff. They got a lot of levers to pull to bring you back in. I just don't understand it. If he really wants to win a title, is this really the play? Also, Bradley Beal signed a 2-year deal with the Los Angeles Clippers. He was bought out the other day by the Phoenix Suns, and literally, what a train wreck is that organization? I mean, in sports, that organization is being run like Daniel Snyder used to run the Redskins. Everything they do is bad. Now you've lost KD. You've got a couple draft picks. Literally, the most valuable assets in the world are your future draft picks that are going out the door. New Orleans, just everything. At least the Clippers, they're going to be a playoff team, so their picks that are all going to OKC aren't quite as valuable, but it is what it is. You're not going to really rebuild. Also, let's go to the NFL. TJ Watt, superstar end, defensive end for the Pittsburgh Steelers, signed a 3-year, $123 million deal. 108 of it is fully guaranteed. I was kind of surprised that it seemed like they were vacillating on bringing him back. Pittsburgh usually pays for their own talent. He is a homegrown talent, but something seems weird going on in their offseason. They brought in Aaron Rodgers, they brought in Lockett. Those aren't really typical moves they make. I'm wondering, are they going to tear it all down if they don't win this year? Got rid of Fitzpatrick. They brought in Jalen Ramsey. Okay, whatever you got to say. Let's talk about the Chiefs and Rashee Rice, the guy who was in that little fender bender on a Houston highway and then ran. And then, of course, when you're Rashee Rice, everybody knows who the hell you are. So good luck with that. He's ordered to serve 30 days in jail. It was at his discretion by the judge. He can do it anytime in the next 5 years. Do expect a suspension coming up this season. The NFL is really, they've got their hands full this offseason. I would assume you're going to see a 4-game suspension here. Vikings Jordan Addison, who got drunk and passed out on the 105 freeway. Initially, I heard that he passed out on the road leading out of LAX, and then I read something today that it was on the 105, whatever it was. He passed out behind the wheel of his Rolls Royce. He agreed to a less charge. The criminal trial was going to start next Tuesday in Los Angeles. Instead of a DUI, you got a wet reckless. We will see how the league views that. I would assume you're looking at another 4-game suspension because that's how it is. Let's get to truly the highlight. I'm going to say one of the highlights of my summer. I enjoyed Wimbledon. But let's talk about the British Open, the last major in the golf calendar. And a lot of people consider it the true championship of golf. First round, wind was kind of sedate. We saw some people on the leaderboard, and you usually see this from, they definitely have a foreign contingent. And there was names on there that I've never heard of before. You know, Jacob Olsen, Hatong Lee, Matt Fitzpatrick. He's a big name. Christian Besenhall, Harris English. They're all at 4 under. They're at the top of the leaderboard. Then we start coming down to the usual suspects. At 3 under is Scotty Scheffler. I will say, if you saw my predictions, I didn't think he would do that well. I mean, Scotty Scheffler is at a different level. When you say he's not going to do very well, you're still talking about a top 10, top 15 at worst. I mean, I didn't think he was going to miss the cut, right? But he just doesn't seem to be able to deal with the greens. He is great at fast greens. I didn't think these roll at about a 10 or 11. Scotty seems to do better on ones that roll about 13 or 14. And basically what that means, if you don't know, is you bring the putter back 1 foot and you hit the ball, and how far does it go? If it goes 10 or 11 feet, okay, it's a fast green, but it's not super fast. The same putt, the same energy on a fast green will go 14 feet. So obviously it's a little more precarious. It's a lot slicker. It is what it is. Tyrell Hatton, also 3 under. He's the British favorite. I will say that Lee Westwood actually kind of impressed me. He's an older guy. I've always rooted for Lee Westwood. I've always liked him and Padraig Harrington. For some reason, he's at 2 under. Ricky Fowler, always loved to see him on the leaderboard. He's at 2 under. And going down the list, let's get to my favorite foreign golfer is everybody trying to ruin my podcast. Justin Rose. I love that guy. I mean, it broke my heart that he lost the Masters to Rory. Rory did everything he could to choke that up. And it still didn't quite work, right? And Justin, 2 under. Lucas Glover, 2 under. Phil Mickelson, as far as I'm concerned, you can leave that guy on the side of the road. That guy on fire, I'm not going to piss on him. I could care less about Phil. He used to be my favorite golfer. The whole live thing, I literally want to punch him in the head. I wouldn't do it because, he'd sue you. Because he's got a gambling debt. Going down the list, though, Rory McIlroy was kind of on the verge of kind of blowing up. And he really rallied in the last 3 holes. He got 2 birdies and a par. And the par could have really turned into a bogey on 18. He righted the ship. He's one under. Xander Schauffele, the American, who is the defending champ, he is at even par. And the other guy I really want to talk about is Robert McIntyre. I think he was a sleeper pick at this Open. He's at even par. We go down the list a little more. And where am I looking for the guy? Where I okay. Okay, I'm looking. Jason Day, +2. I thought Jason Day would probably play a little better here. This seems like his kind of course. Real tight. He does avoid a lot of damage, and he's actually been putting very, very well this year. All right, that's it from the British Open for the first day, Thursday. And if you could, hit that like and subscribe button. It means a lot to us. And we'll see you soon on Off the Rails Sports Podcast.